podcast. Today, we are going to have a podcast that's just Maggie and I, and recap some things that have been going on in our lives and some announcements and talk about Resonate and Renegade and Maggie and Signorama and just kind of like bring everybody up to speed.
I love it. I've been craving. It's funny because we get together so much more often than we ever did in our friendship before.
Yes.
But we're always busy working on the podcast and talking to other people. So we don't have those one-on-ones that we used to have. So I loved kind of combining a chance to catch up with each other and then catch up with the audience. So this is great.
Yeah, it does feel like it's weird that we do see each other a lot more, but we are focused on what we're about to do or what we just did.
The job at hand. We have a job at hand.
Yeah,
so.
that we haven't had a check-in in a while.
Yeah.
But we did just recently sort of have a good check-in because we went to a conference together.
That was so much fun. Yeah, so we went to the National Speakers Association conference called Influence in Scottsdale, Arizona. It's their annual conference, and it was a lot. It was a lot. 5 days?
You went more days than I did. You got the pre-conference vibes too, but it's a full 4. And then there's like that one on the front end. And it is a very good conference aimed at professional speakers and like honing that craft. But one of the neatest things for me is I went last year and knew absolutely no one. And then this year, completely on your own, you decided that you were interested in going because you competed in a last storyteller standing competition and won our state and our region. And so you got to compete on this national stage for a conference I was already planning on going to.
Well, I was planning to go anyway, which I'll talk about later. But yes, that was probably the biggest highlight for me for those days was competing in the last story standing competition. So it's a 5-minute story and literally 5. You can't go 5:01.
No, there was a giant timer looming in her background.
Yes, 5-minute story. And each level of the competition, state, regional, and then national, you had to use the same story. You could tweak it and change it, but it had to be the same story. And I'm so grateful because you and Brad recorded me for the regional competition, and I got to send a video in that sealed it. So thank you for that. And there were 3 finalists among 300 that applied or that tried around the country. And I was one of them, which of course is crazy to me since I'm brand new to NSA. But the reality is that 3 competitors were all first timers to NSA. We were all first time to Influence. So
really, I didn't realize that. That's so cool.
Yeah. So there was Stefano from Italy. Well, he lives in part-time in the U.S. and part-time in Italy. And then there was Michelle, who was the winner, and her story was heartbreaking and beautifully told and lyrical and lovely.
It was gorgeous.
It was absolutely gorgeous. It was like a bouquet of flowers. And then my story, which was fun. It was about my family, and I'll post it when they send me the best video of it. I will post it and share it.
What do you mean my one on the phone wasn't good enough for you? Jeez. No, you did a fantastic job. I think what was really interesting, because I'd heard the story several times because we helped film it and I've seen you perform it. You nailed it. I got to see you doing it standing and your body movement. I mean, you came alive on the stage. I felt like you'd absolutely nailed it. It was just also surprising how amazing all 3 of you were. It was truly impressive. And I felt like it could have gone any direction. But my observation as to why it went that direction, not only was it lyrical and like very well executed, her story was tragic.
Heartbreaking.
And Stefano's, the Italian guy, were both around a family dinner table. And different stories, different meanings, brilliantly told. I loved them deeply. But I think that the tinge of tragedy and is what maybe set it apart, since yours and his were actually both at a dinner table.
Yeah, hers was really beautiful. In fact, when she sat down, we competed. We all sat next to each other on the stage. And when she finished, she was third and sat down. I just leaned over and I said, yeah, you definitely got it. I mean, it was so heartbreaking and beautiful all at the same time. So it was a great experience for me. And people kept reminding me, all these professional speakers kept reminding me, it's incredibly great for you to be on the stage the very first time you go to NSA. Some people come for years hoping to end up on the stage. So it was really cool. The other thing I could tell, I mean, we can go on and on about NSA, but one of the things I really loved about it was the variety of style of speaker. There are people who all they do is tell entertaining stories and entertain an audience. There are people who do training, who do academic kind of information. There's people who use comedy to be a speaker and use a lot of comedy. We saw speakers who use the Ninja Warriors.
Yeah, there was
as
like a
way.
literal stage on the stage, a Ninja Warrior facility. I don't know.
Like
jungle
a
gym.
jungle gym,
Yeah.
and then his two children are competitors and very good competitors in American Ninja, and he used a story around excellent practice in order to be a better speaker. So there were just so many different styles. And then Amanda Gore, who talked about authenticity on stage and how critical it is that what you say matches who you really are and what's in your mind, and not to try to be someone other than exactly who you are, because the audience will know right away. And her entire thing was very impromptu. She even said, you never memorize a speech. You never memorize a speech. Of course, all the other presenters were like, you definitely memorize a speech. So it was like...
Yeah, it was all over the map. And I think I got to debrief with you once, and I got to debrief with some other people that were from Louisville that were there, and some new friends that we made. And it's funny how many different people loved different sessions, and what you liked and what you didn't like.
Something for everyone.
Yeah, and different people took different things away. Like the Ninja Warrior one, I played college volleyball, so we talked a lot about high performance, and I really enjoyed it. And then someone was like, I felt like I was at a big church. And I was like, oh, now that you say that, like, I'm used to that type of speech. And like, he hit these 3 main points, just like you would if it was a sermon, and talking about the different styles of speech. And like, I didn't even pick up. He was like, that was a youth pastor. And I was like, didn't register to me. I loved Amanda Gore. Some people did, she was chaos on stage.
It was chaos.
It was absolutely chaos. But I don't think I will ever forget. This woman had on a headband, and that headband had like these like little tassel-y like crazy things.
Like a bug antenna, sparkly New Year's Eve style.
Yeah. And so if the only thing she wanted us to walk away from was that people can see your sparkly bits, and what she meant was
who you really are,
and when you're being inauthentic, they can see them. I took that away. So if that was her point,
because she wore him the entire speech.
Yeah,
she put him on at some point, explained it. She wore him the whole time, animatedly, and it was clearly alignment of her with those sparkly headband. Like it was like her demonstrating, this is who I am, and you can tell because how much I'm enjoying wearing this and wiggling it around for you and showing you.
She's also Australian, and she was like, and now make fun of the sparkles on my jeans and stuff.
Yeah.
She was out there.
Irreverent.
But anytime she was talking about you being inauthentic, she'd pull the sparkly headband down in front of her eyes, and these like 2 sparkly things. I could only see it in front of her chest. It was in front of her face, but the
like
whole time
pasties.
I was like, woo, woo, there's some sparkly bits coming out of her tits, but it wasn't. So
there were many great speakers, and they teach you at NSA, for those who might be NSA curious, they teach you both different ways of delivering, different ways of being, different styles, but they also teach you different business models. There were people teaching you how to use YouTube, how to use speaking inexpensively to find customers in the audience.
Yeah, speak to sell.
Using social. Like, there's just so many different ways to actually sell yourself as a speaker. And so you got a chance to like this big buffet. Plus, it was like being in a room of 1,000 of us. It was like everyone was happy to chat. Everyone in the hallway would stop and talk to you if you had a name badge on. My husband, Brian, was there, and he was like, this is wild.
Too much extroversion.
This is all you. This is like you are having, elevator conversations, whether the conversations lasted 5 minutes or an hour. It was like every conversation sort of enriched me. And for anyone out there who is NSA curious, I will say this. One conversation I had with a guy, he said, well, tell me about what you do. And I said, well, I'm brand new. I'm just barely launching my brand. I'm just a baby. And he said, well, I'm really glad you're here because I did not come to NSA until I was in business for 5 years because I thought I had to come to NSA perfectly done. Like, I had to be a proven product with a history. And I wish I had been coming all those 5 years, because I would be so much further down the road. So I would say to the audience, if you're NSA curious, if you're thinking about being a trainer, a speaker, a presenter, a storyteller, improving your communication, this experience is like everything is there for you.
Yeah. And I think one of the unexpected outcomes of me going last year was I went for business. I was like, speakers, they need a podcast. And that is true, and lots of them do podcasts. But one of the most unexpected outcomes was that I end up spending a lot more time thinking about me, my business, how I present, how I podcast, how I tell stories and my cadence and tone and how to draw people in. And so it's ended up being an experience that I want to be there to learn just as much as I want to be there to sell. And so I sponsored this year. I chose not to do a booth.
Well
but
done.
Thank you. I did do a lunch session and talked about podcasting as a part of your thought leadership and how to have a profitable podcast. And the session went really well. I feel very, very pleased with the ratings and reviews. It is nerve-wracking. I don't know how you did it on the main stage. I mean, I probably would have loved it, but it's also terrifying to stand up in a room full of professional speakers because every one of those people in the room is judging your speech.
100%.
They're not just there for the information. They're there to pull back what you did and didn't do and what they liked and didn't like. That's an assessment the whole time, and in the kindest way, right? Like there was nothing mean about it. It's just intimidating as you go to talk. So I was feeling really good about my presentation and its score at the end. It was very high. So
Well
I'm feeling
done.
good about that. But it also got us talking about our next iteration of Renegade and our lives and our stories. And I want you to kind of talk to us because this week, which this might be coming out here in like a month, but this week in real time.
In July, end of July.
Yeah. You announced something. So tell our
Yes.
audience.
Thank you so much. So I have launched my speaking business, and I have, as you know, I have long been someone who loves a microphone ever since I was in my early 20s, and my father would let me lead the door prize giveaway at one of his big car events that he had. I have always loved being at a microphone. So I've been in Toastmasters for 15 years and built friends around that and done a ton of nonprofit speaking, and it's helped me with all of my comfort in front of expressing myself is really what it's about. Well, with Sinorama downtown sort of able to be managed by my team, my leadership team I've been developing for 22 years, and I have just an extraordinary team there, I can step away from the business a little bit. And I thought, my kids are out of the house. You know, Jack's in New York, my younger son Clay's in LA, and I have a chance to sort of like, well, what would I do with my time if I could do anything in the whole wide world? And it would be speaking. And why not do it, as my husband has said, when are you going to get paid for this? So I thought, well, let's give it a try. So yes, I've launched my business. It's called Maggie Harlow & Associates because I do hope someday to bring on other speakers, to bring on a team. I really love a team experience, so I really hope I can grow it to that level. And my speaking is about helping people tap into their inner rock star.
I wonder why.
We've all had those experiences of feeling like I'm excellent at this, or feeling joy in a moment where you're like, this feels amazing. And so I hope in my speaking, I'm going to be doing keynotes to start. I may be adding some other products. I really hope to help in my storytelling and in my keynotes to help people remember that feeling and find more of it in their life and let them live their life more freely and lead as leaders more boldly.
I love it. I love it. I love that we were in real time kind of developing out the titles and topics and what you're going to speak about and the value. You can speak to a lot of different things. And I think that makes it hard when you're starting a speaking business to kind of narrow in what made you decide that beyond the title and your relationship of having a son that is an actual rock star, like what made you decide that this was the thing that you wanted to speak on, helping people live out their inner rock star?
People often come up to me, people I don't know or people I know, and they say, you said this in a speech and it helped me see this in a different way. You know, recently I had a friend say, you changed the way I parent because of the way you talked about the way you parent and the stories that you experienced with your kids, or the way that I manage my team. Like, I have just had people tell me, I've never forgotten this one thing you said. And I often think the way we experience the world is in our mind. You know, the way we believe things about our lives is the way we experience them. If I believe I shouldn't be taking a certain risk, or I believe I shouldn't wear a certain dress, or I could never pull that off, then I won't. And if you believe you're capable of something, if you believe you deserve something, it comes to you in life. That's what I believe. And so I think if you can unlock your mindset and unlock your beliefs about what you're capable of or what is coming to you, it's not so much manifesting, it's really more being open to what comes into your view, to say, oh, here's an opportunity for me to try something I've never tried. I'm going to try it. And I might be good, I might be bad, but I'm going to try it. So that's what made me go in that direction, because I think people see me as confident and competent and able to go out and do things. But the reality is, it's just all what I believe I'm capable and willing to do.
That's a really good point. And I feel like I understand that deep in my bones. And I have gotten those experiences from being friends with you as well, of those things that you've said that has encouraged me, but also have the experience of like people saying that this one thing that was said here on the podcast or somewhere helped them have that courage to take the next leap. And I think that that's really what we're aiming to do, even with Renegade. Absolutely. Which is like, we put so many limitations on ourselves that are fake, that are
made up.
They're made up. They're ingrained into us. They were the beliefs of our parents or our grandparents. They come to us systemically. They come to us because of real limiting factors, but they're limiting factors, not actual limitations.
Right.
And
or something someone said.
Yes.
Like someone said my nose was wide. And
yes.
I believed it forever.
I mean, we were just talking like that. I have big ears.
Is too wide.
Yeah. And I think I've been having to rewire my own sets of beliefs over time, you know, and if we're not willing to like boldly question what we believe and why, and then rewire it.
Amen, sister. Amen.
We won't get to live our fullest, best selves and biggest lives.
Yes. And that's what I want everyone to do.
Yes.
I want everyone to believe in their potential and try.
Well, I think there's often that like, oh, well, I couldn't do that. And it's like, there is absolutely nothing unique about me. Does that like, now that's not me fishing or anything. It's like, I am a average girl who grew up with a construction dad and a little bit of everything mom, but also became a teacher in the middle of Bullitt County in Louisville, Kentucky. And we didn't have a lot of money there is nothing. It's just taking risks and choosing to rewire
how a kid, how an 11-year-old in Louisville, Kentucky, a little white middle-class kid can say, I want to be the world's greatest rapper.
Yes. Yeah.
And then figured out how to become a rapper. And, you know.
And everybody's like, okay, kid. And it's like, no, I'm going to do it. Yes. Yeah.
Exactly.
And it really is about that belief. So that's really neat. So you're going to be keynoting, and you're looking for those keynote gigs. You're rebuilding a new business. You're back to square one rebuilding.
I know. I'm running this business that's been around forever and is kind of running itself, and now I'm back into startup land. So I love it. I love it's like life is a buffet, and I'm all about all the dishes.
That's amazing. Life is a buffet, and I'm about all the dishes. That's awesome.
So tell me what NSA and what's happening for you with Resonate. What's on your horizon with your business?
Yeah, so I will be at 2 years in October.
Congrats.
So October 27th, 2023 is when we closed. I really stepped into the role on that following Monday, which was like, I think the 30th. So basically November. And it has been a really interesting journey that has been like both so hard and exactly where I was meant to be. And when I bought into Resonate, they had some hard times. They were not financially stable. And so I set out on a journey I could see why though, and what we could do to make it right. And it always takes longer than you thought, right? And so it took me about 6 months to turn us into profitable. But we weren't profitable on that year based on those first 6 months of running it. And so frankly, we were about $50,000 in the negative my first year. Year 2, we are profitable.
Yay!
Yes, and we've been profitable for like 18 months now.
Congrats.
Not every single month is profitable, but we are profitable. We've been profitable every
Month
single
over
quarter
month,
for
yeah.
the past 18. And growing rapidly. We went from like 10 down to 9. Now we're about 12, and we'll be probably 14 people here in the next couple of weeks. We raised money. I raised $475,000.
Wow.
And
Well done.
that was for cash flow stability and growth. And I was feeling like I couldn't be wrong in any one of my decisions. So I couldn't push us to grow because I had to keep us profitable because we had been negative, our cash cushion was gone. And so I wanted to have some cash cushion to push growth, to spend more on ads and maybe be wrong, right? And we just didn't have that opportunity for me to be wrong in any way, shape, or form. And so I'm entering in like a scary moment of I spent all this time getting us back profitable, and now I have to take some risks. And I've been like very risk averse for 2 years. And so I'm like having to re-push myself.
Learn how to get back in that risk mindset.
Yeah. And pushing that growth but doing it in a way that feels authentic and stable for the team. We're announcing a new partnership with a company called Pod Launch that does the course and like education side of podcasting, but not as much on the production side, so that we can bring our clients new insights and education and help them feel like really held and like they really understand what they're doing. But also, Courtney, the owner of Pod Launch, and my explicit goal is to take more podcasts to the top 100 list, more podcasts to successful and seeing their ROI in their categories. And how do we make that system like a system to where we can pretty much guarantee that if you follow what we do, you're going to be successful.
Help guide your clients through the process, success, and repeat.
Yeah. And so that's where we're at. I'm in the messy middle still. We're pushing and learning and growing, and there's growing pains, but most of it's been really, really good. And some things have been really hard. Like, I'm not going to act like they haven't been.
Well, the messy middle is the worst stage. Every business, I think really in life too, like, there's that messy stage in any change. It's not like you go, oh, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to change to this, and then it's going to be perfect. It's always messy. Maybe that's messy for a week, and maybe it's messy for a year.
Yeah.
And you have to just kind of laugh your way through the messy part and keep your eye on the prize and remember what direction you're heading. And I always like to keep looking back now and then just to remind myself, oh, well, at least we're not back there.
Yes.
We're one step closer to getting out of the messy middle. So it is an emotional drain being in the messy middle. It is a moment.
Yeah. We're at, like, when I took over Resonate, we were editing like just under 200 episodes. And the last 2 months, we've edited over 325 episodes in a single month.
Wow.
And so growth is good. It's just also hard. Yeah. There's good and bad things. In the middle is messy. And, we were very growing and very profitable. And then I had my first down month in like 8-9 months. And I had to remind myself, like, 120,000 a month was like the goal last year. So my worst month this year was the goal last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It is the context. It's all about trying to keep it all in context and remember where you've come from and where you're going. So congratulations.
Thank you. We're pushing, like, the other thing was like, we're pushing for almost 50% growth this year. So I'm feeling good, and I'm feeling like we're headed in the right direction.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But these conversations also have us talking about like Renegade.
Yes.
And and what we want
Yes,
out of this.
we're having great conversation about it. I think for me, I want these conversations we're having to be about that messy middle, about the risks people take, about the crazy leaps, because I believe there are people sitting on the sidelines in life sometimes, whether it's they're a business owner and they're afraid to make a change because it's messy, or whether you're in a job you hate and you want to own a business, but it's scary, or you want to acquire something, but you've never done it. So how do you what the heck is what the hell is due diligence? So I really want to keep shifting the conversations we're having with these business owners to of those emotional experiences and those dynamics of owning a business and how it impacts your parenting, how it impacts your marriage, your relationships, your friendships. I know that being a business owner is for the first time, is so jarring. It's just, it's like a upside down world in a lot of ways, and you can't talk to your friends about it. It's just a hard conversation. And so I want this to be a place where those conversations can take place. And it helps, push some of the ideas I really want to keep growing about belief and mindset. And I think it helps you certainly with your podcast business. If we can do a good podcast that's rich and interesting, that's good for your business.
Yeah, I have kind of two thoughts here. One is like Renegade's doing several things wrong in the sense that it's not what we coach from Resonate, my podcast production company. And not on like the way in which we look or even our conversations, but like our episode titles and descriptions. And we are every other week versus weekly. And there's not necessarily wrong or right, but I know that some of these things can be optimized so that I'm putting the best foot forward for my other entity, right? And so from like the business owner, podcast business owner perspective, I want to publicly say I'm challenging myself to meet the standard of what we want from a podcast as a company. And so it's been published, Kid Has No Shoes. And that we want to use this as a place where we can test and try and do new things for my clients that aren't, everyone here, but there are other people. From Renegade standpoint, Renegade was originally, I don't know if everyone here knows the story, but years ago, Renegade was a inkling of an idea out of Maggie, myself, and Elizabeth Roundsavall that we were going to support women investors, all right? And that we were going to help women become angel investors.
Yeah, partner women investors, women with money means who are interested in becoming investors and investing in other ideas and pairing them maybe with the women startups.
Yes. And the timing and some things just didn't make its way to full fruition. And so when I got into acquisition entrepreneurship, I went back to Maggie and Elizabeth and said, this is still women investing, but it's about entrepreneurship and acquisitions. And season 1 was very much about acquisitions, and it was me teaching. Season 2 has been more about storytelling. And I think version 3 is going to be a blend of education and storytelling. And, but I think the goal or the heartbeat of Renegade is to help women hear the untold stuff about business.
And some men.
Yes.
We know you're out there.
Yeah. And actually, I want this to be explicitly feminine leaning because I feel like we need to create a safe space where these conversations can be had and it doesn't feel like bro culture. But we know that we have lots of men who listen to this and get value. So thank you for being here. You're always welcome here. But I do want to make, as a human being, I want to make stronger, better business owners. You were talking about you want to help people live out their highest,
wildest
best
dreams.
Yeah. And I think at its core, that's what I want to do too, by helping with the parts of business that we don't talk about or that you're afraid to ask about, whether that be like, what is EBITDA or due diligence, or how are you handling working with your spouse? Like, we want to make more well-rounded business owners because I personally believe that leads to personal success and economic and community success.
So we don't want it to be bro culture. We want it to be bra culture.
Is that BRA or is it BRAH?
No, BRA, bra
Yeah.
culture.
Like boobies?
Bra culture.
Bras. Okay. Yeah. So, who's the best? Third Love, Skims, whoever wants,
Yes.
you can join
Who
in
wants to sponsor our bra culture?
our bra culture. We will do a segment about if you give us some new bras. This is random, but I am terrible about buying new bras. Are you?
I have to like go and buy them, and like I have to. By the time I'm like finally like, all right, I got to do it, I just go buy a bunch, and
Yes.
that way, I can go for a while because it's the worst experience. And I don't know about other women, but like I find a bra, and I cannot make a change
No.
because that's the only one that works.
And I don't want to have to think about the bra. I just want to wear it, and I
Yes.
want it to be soft, and I want it to not have an underwear most of the time at this point. But like,
Yes.
Yeah.
I will say, and this is not a paid endorsement, I will say I recently tried the Hug bra, HUUG.
yeah.
Excellent. So I'm probably
What
gonna,
is it?
It's like has no hooks or anything. It's like it just pulls out like a athletic bra, but it's just like just the right amount of lift. It's not like a with athletic bra where you feel like you're wrestling a gorilla to get out of it. It's just a little easier to get in and out of, and it just gives you the right level of support.
Does it give you like a lift?
a
Because
little.
I like a push up. I'm
Yeah,
like,
it gives me
give
a
me my
little.
extra cup size. I get to
mean,
pretend that I had a
wouldn't wear
boob
it on
job
date
without
night.
it.
I wouldn't wear it on
Okay.
date night, okay? But normal day stuff I would probably wear.
So if you are the owner of Hug Bras,
Yes.
and you want to be a
Come find
sponsor,
us. Come find us.
Which
Come give us a hug.
which brings us to another thing, which is Renegade is kind of fully paid for by Resonate right now.
Yes,
and
thank
so
you.
I think as we went to this conference, that really challenged us to level up our speaking businesses and our game. And then Maggie launched her speaking business, and I actually have had one in its dormancy for a while. I think that we want to take Renegade to the next level in lots of different ways, by making it the best possible show that we can, by helping it elevate our individual businesses, and by asking some other people to join our journey and actually going for sponsorships and going for how do we take this from something that's really enriched our local entrepreneurial community, but take it more nationally, and looking to local and national partners, sponsorships, other people who have awesome business stories that you feel like we need to hear about.
We can do some remoting pods, so we can do, have people
Come in remotely.
Yeah, we can do
Yes.
it remote. You and I can be remote. They can be remote. And we can start expanding our reach because we know speakers from all over. We know people in business from all over. So we have a huge network. So we can kind of tap more into some of that.
And if you are listening and you're like, I have a speaker for you all to have on as a guest, know that all of our guests are coming on completely unpaid at the moment. But if we were to bring on sponsorships and things, we might be able to expand. But if you have someone that you feel like has a great story and you want us to know about them, my email is Ellie, ELLIE, at renegade.biz. So send us, I'll be honest, it's Sarah, my assistant, that's probably responding to you, but we're looking for people to come along this journey, suggestions, ideas. If you have questions and you want us to address them, we want more community interaction.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that you're loving the content we're putting out.
Yeah, more of this, less of that. Give us feedback. Let us know what we can do better, what we should stop. As we say in entrepreneurship, what should you stop? What should we start? What should we do more of? What should we do less of?
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited to see your next iteration as a business owner, a new business, going from very established to launching your speaking career.
A little baby.
Yeah.
Baby business.
The last thing I want to bring up, it just came to my mind, is one of the things I struggle with, even talking about having people on, it being free, and I'll be interested in what your opinion is here, is making the transition from doing a lot of speaking, mostly here locally, for free, and now making it a paid service. Are you nervous? Are you excited? Are you worried?
I'm excited. I think I would say I'm mostly excited. I think that just comes from being in business for so long, that I think I'll figure it out, and maybe I end up pivoting to something, follow customers, where they go. But no, I'm just kind of excited about it, and The good news is my business supports me. So my sign company, Signorama Downtown, supports me. I don't need this thing to make me $1 million. I just want to travel and enjoy myself and hopefully build a nice, solid business.
That's awesome. Yeah. I think it's one of my mental barriers. So you'll take me on your journey as you accomplish that.
We will. Let's update each other on
Yes.
how things are going. How are the pod results?
Yes.
And I'll tell you about how are my cold call results.
That sounds good. That sounds good. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. I know that this was a different kind of conversation, more casual. If there's something that you are wondering about, you're wanting us to dive into a specific topic about business ownership or acquisition, or even about ourselves, please let us know. Again, my email is ellie@renegade.biz, and we will get back to you with that as we build out the next iteration of Renegade Ventures.
Awesome. Thanks.